I never know when this thing is starting. Good morning. Here we are, day 6. Today we're going to talk gratitude. So some of our other stuff has been a little heavier. So today it's going to be a little different. And so the verse that we have today is Isaiah 26:3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Uh, uh, I just love that. So it goes back again to your thinking. Okay, so just that gratitude, keeping your mind steadfast. Okay, so keeping it in check at all times, and so with gratitude, what we have as our prompt today is gratitude exercise. We're going to make a list of the people in your life, past and present, who have been a positive influence in your life and why. Now, I want to have you extend this just a little more because sometimes, depending on where you're at, depending on where your season of life is, where your thinking is, the gratitude list can go really fast because you're just in this space of trying to find, trying to be thankful, because maybe things are hard. And so, really take some time to sit and meditate on this. And and as you think of people or as you think of situations or little blessings, try and map it back to the one who blessed you in the first place, which, as we all know, is God. He's the giver of all good things, and so sometimes that's hard, um, even harder to do when you're in a season of um, where things are tough, where things are challenging. And also, as you go throughout the day, take note of all the little tiny blessings that sometimes we overlook. Sometimes we don't um, recognize all of the little positives. Like yesterday for me, um, since now that I live on my own, I have to do my own yard work. So, and of course, being in an HOA, they have standards for what your yard needs to look like. So you got to make sure it stays trimmed and cut and not a lot of weeds, and your shrubbery is trimmed and all those things. And if you know anything about me, that is not my gifting. I am not a plant person. I love to look at plants. I love to be around plants. I love the beauty of nature. I just don't have any desire to take care of it. It just has never been my thing. And maybe I blame my mom for that, because growing up in Kansas, we had this garden that was next to our garage, and the only thing I got to do in the garden was pull weeds. I didn't get to plant, I didn't get to water, I didn't get to see the fruit and the vegetables from it. It was okay. Now these are the weeds. You need to pull all those out. And in Kansas, the dirt is kind of unforgiving at times, and so it takes a lot to actually get to the root of the weed and stuff. But I'm very good at it. I'll say that. I'm good at pulling weeds. But yeah, so that is not really my gifting. But yesterday, I was sitting at my office, and there's a window right here, which is right by my front door, so it's right to the front. I hear somebody doing yard work, and it's loud, and I'm like, wow, that's really loud. And I was about to jump on a Zoom call, so I'm going, what is happening? It's never this loud. Well, I look outside. He's doing the weed trimming in my yard. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is not. I know he's at the wrong house because I didn't hire him. And I just thought about it. I was like, do I just wait until he's done? And then that way, I just, oh, well, you made the mistake. So yay, free yard work. And I was like, okay, that's not very kingdom minded. That's not fair. That's not fair to him. Um, and so I was like, nah, I gotta go tell him. And so I looked out, and sure enough, he was trimming my yard. And so I walked out the front door, and I just kind of look at him, kind of wave, and he turns the weed eater off. He's like, yeah. And I said, hey, I said, I think you're in the wrong yard. I said, I didn't call anyone to do my yard work. And I said, and I can't like pay you. I said, so unless someone's doing me a solid, you got the wrong house. And he was like, oh, he goes, well, this is where my boss told me to come. And I'm like, well, I'm just, I didn't hire anyone to do my yard work. I said, I love it. You're doing a great job. And so he's like, oh, he goes, well, I'll go check with my boss. And because he had almost trimmed the entire front, there was, grass and everything. And he goes, I'll clean this up. And I said, okay, no worries. And sure enough, he went and talked to his boss, and they did. They had the wrong address. But he did come back, and he took the blower and he blew everything off. So I got like almost all of my front yard trimmed. And so I was like, thank you, God. Like, yay. I can go a week now without having to do the weed trimmer because it's hard work. It's awkward. I'm not very good at it. I'm getting better, but I'm not very good at it. But I was like, God, that was just a little blessing. And and then apparently there was another guy on the other side working on the front, because when you walk out now you see the front, and like you can see where he trimmed and where it now needs to be finished. And so I'm like, okay, I guess today I'm gonna finish out my yard. But that was just, to me, it was a blessing. It was like, that is one thing I don't have to do this week, is to hold up that weed trimmer. And so I was like, thank you, God. I felt bad for the guy. He got the wrong address. His boss told him the wrong place, but I didn't make him work extra than he had to. So just check on those little things throughout the day. What little areas, what little things is God blessing you with? He's given me my arms a break for this week, and I'm just so thankful. So yeah, and then just as we've gone through life, as you've gone through challenges, especially during the challenges, it's so good to just get your eyes up and take your eyes off of your own situation. Because when you sit in that space of, sadness, grief, and it's going to happen. I mean, we all go through it. And so don't beat yourself up for it, but start to kind of look up and look at that gratitude list. And sometimes it's going to take you a minute. But if you just keep going and dig a little deeper, your gratitude list will be long and it will be extensive. And so just force yourself to just keep going. Even if it's like, thank you for the sunshine today. Thank you for, my coffee. Thank you for being able to walk, just all those little things. And once you start kind of chipping away at those memories and you start getting rid of those blockers, the hurts and the pains that are keeping you from gratitude, you just keep going and going and going, and then you'll have an extensive gratitude list, and it's just a beautiful thing to keep going back to. And then don't forget to go back after you see those things to really thank the Father for it. Thank the God of like for all the many things and things he's taken you through and gotten you through, and all the little things that he blesses you with throughout the day, like getting my yard trimmed for free and clean, like there's no like divots because I jerk with the weed eater. So yeah, so just kind of look at those things. And then as this is November, the month of Thanksgiving, and so many people do gratitude every day. What is one thing? What are 5 things that you can be grateful for every day? And so again, it's just good reminders as we walk through this month. And then as your thinking gets off track, get your brain back to that gratitude. Just maybe one thing that like you just kind of cling to that you're thankful for, to kind of get your mind to that steadfast, get that thinking, your steadfast thinking on the right things. and that will start training. You're training. Remember, we are retraining our brain this month to get on the right train of thinking, and this is one way you do it. If we can think of the positive things, all of those other little negatives will start falling away. And then when they fall away, don't pick them back up. Let me tell you another great story from yesterday. Uh, I was on a call, and I had walked through this forgiveness of a situation of really just the forgiveness of with the divorce and everything, just forgiving all of the things with my now ex-husband, all the hurts and all of that. And I was taking my dog for a walk, and we were walking, and God gave me this picture of what that forgiveness looks like. And he says, okay, as you're walking, when you walk down memory lane, he's like, don't go pick up all that stuff again. And so it's like this visual of, you taking a walk. He's like, okay, you had this backpack that you were carrying around of hurt and pain and bitterness and everything else. And he's like, and you set that down. So don't pick it back up. So when you walk down memory lane, when you think about, because how do I not think about the last 25 years of my life ever again? He was a part of the last 25 years of my life. And so when I walk down those memory lanes, he's like, do not pick up those rocks of all that hurt, pain, and everything and start putting them back in your backpack. He's like, you did forgiveness. You dropped it. You let it go. Keep it there. And so it's such a beautiful picture, because a lot of times too, those rocks, those pains, those hurts, those are the stumbling blocks that get in the way of us progressing, because we go down memory lane, we go back to those things, those thoughts, and we get tripped up. We get tripped up by the pain and the hurt and the bitterness and the anger. And, oh yeah, remember when they did this? Oh yeah, remember when this happened? No. Forgiveness. I let it go. So all those rocks are at the feet of Jesus. They're done. They're not going to get in my way anymore, because I truly forgave. And so walking that out day in and day out, so that way when my thoughts trail back to those memories, I don't get tripped up. I don't pick up any of that stuff. And with that, I'll be able to walk freely in grace and peace. And then me and my ex-husband, we can have an even better relationship, because I don't hold anything against him. And, and he's done the same for me. It's like, that's the picture of forgiveness, of true forgiveness, of just dropping it and letting it go and not holding things against others. And so that was another, God was just really like blessing me and like stretching me yesterday in just so many beautiful ways. And I pray he's doing the same for you. I pray that as we continue on these exercises, that God is just really showing you his love for you, and his graciousness and mercy and compassion. And just know that he's a good Father, and he wants the best for you. And so, so just enjoy this gratitude list. Enjoy just thinking about all the good things. And as you walk down those memory lanes, because we talked about going into the past, don't pick up the hurt. Don't pick up the stumbling blocks. Throw them to the side. They're done. Just go to those good places and those memories and just keep going. Okay, God, you healed me. You walked through me through all this pain. And thank you. Thank you for, and maybe that can be part of your list. Thank God for walking you through those painful things, and that you can walk through them and be okay and come out on the other side even better and even stronger than before. And so enjoy the day. I hope it's blessed. It will be blessed. And do the gratitude list, and please comment on the things that God showed you, on what you're grateful for, and we'll see you again tomorrow.